Sunday. So glad to have you here. I hope you take this opportunity to enjoy the next half hour where we are going to learn all about the science, the breath, the energy of Qigong with Master Qigong Practitioner Jeff Primack, who is the founder of the Supreme Science Qigong Center. And he's widely known, particularly here coming up in Florida, that everyone I know is going to his upcoming events. Also, as the food is healing master, and I'm really excited. Food is medicine, food is healing, everything that all of us want to know to live our lives better. So I'm going to let him step right in. Welcome to the show, Jeff. So glad to have you here.
Thank you, Lainie. It's great to be here.
So where are you calling in from? Because I know you are always all over the place, according to the websites.
Yeah, we just did a Qi Revolution in Asheville, North Carolina, then 2 weeks later in Connecticut, and then 2 weeks later in Illinois. And so in 3 events over a month, we trained close to 1,000 people. It's a lot of Qi and breathing that is happening. And we're really excited about the upcoming national event.
Yep, I plan on being there myself. Excited to meet you and see what it's all about. The very first thing people say to me when I tell them that I've recently been interested in Qigong is that Taichi? And I'm sure that's the common question. And then they ask me what the difference is. So I think I'd let you determine that better than me, who's just starting to get into it.
Taichi is a flowing art form. You don't stop moving as much in Tai Chi. It's very graceful, and it could be fast, it can be slow, and it was originally created about 1,000 years ago, 800 years ago, to disguise a martial arts practice, and Tai Chi is very useful. Tai Chi is, in my opinion, I'm just telling you what I feel.
Sure.
Tai Chi is a little harder for people to feel Qi in compared to Qigong. Qigong has more rooted poses, especially the styles that we teach. So you're standing in one place throughout a fair bit of our practices are standing. And this develops your leg strength. You're not focused on all moving your legs. You're working on your arms. And so this is really developing your energy field, I think, to a more sensitive degree, a greater degree. We have moving types of Qigong where you get off of your spot, but those are taught later in our system because the essence is the Qi, the life force energy. If you want to heal it, you got to feel it. And the more you feel it, the better your Qigong is. That's just, there's a lot of Qigong out there, and I'm not claiming to say that ours is the best, because I don't say things like that. But people tell us that they feel the Qi with ours the most. And I like that. I'll stand by that there's a strong ability to feel energy with our poses, because you're not trying to master a sequence of long flowing movements, which is hard to do. You're standing in one place, which my grandma can do, which you could do, which a lot handicapped people can do, injured people can do, athletes even like it too, because there's a challenge to it. But there's this, you got to master the stillness before you go and master the movement.
Have you always been doing this? I should ask that and preface that there's many people listening who know you, and there's many people listening who do not know who Jeff Primack is. So maybe a little bit of a background of your entry into this world.
I grew up in Miami, Florida. My grandparents grew up here, so I'm a Florida native for many generations, and I got no training in Qigong, yoga, healthy eating. I didn't get any of that. I learned it after the age of 20. So I had 2 lives, before 20 and after learning about Qi and food, because with learning Qi is about food has Qi. Food is either alive or it's deep fried and toxic, So there's an awareness of Qi with food when you start practicing Qigong. It's inevitable. You start to realize that. But I started in college, I read the book Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield. I don't know if you've heard of that. I was like 21 when that book hit. And I was at Gator, University of Florida, and we were all reading it. I mean, at the time on my campus, that book was widely circulated, and we were seeing the Qi. We were feeling it, and we didn't know Qigong. I didn't know Qigong at the time, but that book really does lay out a good understanding of the life force and how this relates to human energy. It's a fairy tale book. I mean, it's fiction, right? I like fiction. Sure. I've written fiction. I like movies that give wisdom. Like that would be it could have been a great movie. It didn't really make it into the best one, but The Matrix describes, some force that is unexplainable. So these ideas are important. But the breath work is really what took me to I want to do this for a living. I was just a dabbler. I was reading books. I was practicing. But I did some breath work in 1999. I'm still a college student. Don't know what I want to do with my life. I have a business degree at this time. And I did this breath work, and I had a full body vibration of energy. It was a biblical experience for me. It was healing. I had asthma for this, and I did not have asthma after doing this. So there was a lot of transformation in doing the breath work, and I was set to have a finance degree and go teach business, and the breath work just was like, you're not doing any of that. You're going to teach this breath work. This is the best thing since sliced bread. You have the ultimate thing right here. It's right under your nose.
Well, I like that you said that, right under your nose, because so often my husband and I say that a lot. The things that are so important, they're just right under our nose the whole time. In our world that Spirit's been showing us, we just needed to have new eyes to just look and see what is right there.
Yeah, and I started to share the breath work at first for free to college students, because they don't have money. I found that out pretty quickly. So I was like, okay, but you guys like to, so a lot of people where I went to school like to party. I went to the top party school in the nation, and people said they felt higher off the breath and the Qi than any mushrooms, plant, anything they ever took. And I was like, this is going to be big. If this can really get these people who are so used to hard drugs, right, to say these types of things, and compare it to their drug. I was like, this is going to be a big thing. And that was a gamble that I took. My family at first thought I was a little nuts. What are you doing?
I was just going to make a joke. Qigong, the new ayahuasca. Just kidding, people.
It is an ayahuasca. I will say this for the record. I've never taken ayahuasca, so that's something I've never tried. I'm not saying I haven't tried other things, but I've never tried that. I've seen people report back to me of their experience on it, and I'm like, dude, have you tried just laying down and breathing for an hour and get that? It's like ecstasy, and you have a total connection with spirit, with God, there's no toxic side effects. In fact, the rest of the day, I'm like energized. I'm more strong after I do that particular drug. And that's for me was the determining factor that I wanted to get involved, was seeing people heal and get energized from doing the breath work and doing the movement. There's a high that I get as a teacher from that, seeing people transform, and now this is for 20 years I have done nothing but teach Qigong as my main focus, to become not only an expert in my field, because I flew in different Qigong masters from around the world for seminars and let them teach before I ever did. And I learned what was good Qigong and what was just so-so. Why do I like that Qigong and why do I not like this one? And I got to really see a lot of styles. And I think that the main thing that I like about Qigong is that anybody can do it and have an experience with it, even if you have no training, even if you don't believe in it, you show up skeptical. healthy skepticism. If you hold your hands in these poses, if you take a deep inhale, if you swallow the air down in the way that it's just a technique really, your oxygen level goes up. You're going to be transformed. Your stress level can't stay the same in that energy. And I think everybody needs that right now.
I think you're absolutely right. I think, for the record, I have done ayahuasca on a number of occasions, and so I am looking forward to experiencing this wonderful event that you're going to be having at the end of June here in Kissimmee, Florida. More on that later. But for now, I think we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have more with Jeff Primack and also learn about food as medicine. You are listening to Zeta Global Radio. We will be back in a moment. Holistic Radiance Day Spa in Cape Coral is one of Southwest Florida's premier destinations for the ultimate relaxing day spa experience. Owner Lucille Trice and her therapist specialize in massage therapy, facials, plant-derived organic skincare and nail bar, as well as energy healing. Health and wellness classes are offered weekly from nutrition to essential oils. Now is the time to start thinking about the perfect Mother's Day gift certificate or spa package. Contact us today to create that custom nourishing present your mother deserves. Visit holisticradiancefl.com to learn more about our restorative and rejuvenating spa.
Experience the profound energy of Qigong at the upcoming Qi Revolution, a 3-day event designed to unlock your healing power and create your best life. Join over 1,000 people gathering in sacred space in Kissimmee, Florida from June 22nd to 24th to learn the teachings that give energy using the most effective breathing techniques, Qigong, and food healing. Only $199 for the entire weekend of holistic wellness training. Special guests include Dawn Cartwright, Himalaya, and Michael Baker. Register today at QiRevolution.com. That's QIRevolution.com.
Welcome back to Zeta Global Radio, talking today about the supreme science of Qigong, and also, as Jeff had mentioned earlier, how food as medicine goes hand in hand. And I think that's so true. Once we wake up to the consciousness of our beautiful temple, we have to nourish it accordingly. And I hear in so many ways that we're going to be nourished entirely at the June 22nd through 24th event in Kissimmee, Florida. I'm so looking forward to this national event. Do you want to share a little bit more about it so people can know what to look forward to?
Yeah, sure. In addition to doing Qigong for 3 days straight with a real focused audience and the best music, we teach food healing. And these are protocols of using specific foods for specific diseases like cancer or asthma or heart disease. And we've seen certain changes in our 70,000 students who we've trained in the last 15 years since the beginning of the first Qi Revolution. And we have looked at what foods work best. So, for example, it's not a surprise to people that okra pulls fat out of the arteries with that gumminess that it has, or it usually doesn't surprise people that cancer is not liking asparagus. Also, you know, the asparagus is very detoxifying to the liver. And so there's certain foods that just work for certain diseases. And we also present science studies that support our theories, but our theories mostly come from students who've reversed cancer or reversed asthma. We've seen hundreds of students reverse cancer with food since the first books we've written came out. And now people who don't even come to the Qi Revolution, they just have our food book, Conquering Any Disease, and we get cancer reversal testimonies all the time. But we don't tell people to eat all raw food or do an extreme diet. You know, or actually, I'm not a vegetarian. Some people are surprised by that. You know, I like to eat some living foods, but I like to cook. And my favorite food is red pepper paste, and everybody gets to try that at the Qi Revolution. And so we like to share food, and we talk about it, but we're going to be sharing it as well at the event.
I love that. My degree's in food science. I don't know, some people know that, but I'm always been passionate about food and how the science of it, how it helps our body in a number of ways. So I'm excited about that, and a lot of people are. I know that everybody is looking for different ways to avoid the red or the blue pill, as we say, since you brought up the matrix earlier. And I think that having this knowledge, and apparently you've been doing this for so long, it's not like you just discovered this yesterday. It's been proven over and over that we have our own ability to take control. And I think that's really what you're sharing, that we're in charge of our own fate. Yes?
Absolutely. I trained a doctor in Daytona, Florida, he's a head and neck surgeon named Perrin, and he told me that he tells 5 cancer patients a day they have cancer, and that he had to break the news to them. And that's a very stressed out doctor, I found out. He started coming to the advanced classes, and he also studied our food healing all the way to the highest level. He got the highest score on my test. He now tells his cancer patients about asparagus, in addition to the options of radiation therapy that he's obligated to share. He also shares, look, you can support yourself with food too. Even doing both Western and alternative at the same time, you're better with the asparagus than without it. And so, these doctors that are taking our workshop, they've helped us immensely gain credibility, and we're approved to give continuing education credits to registered nurses. That's a big deal. And so we're proud of our science. We're not a bunch of hippies breathing on the grass. And I know people think that about me and our group, and that's okay. And I'll forever have to fight that stereotype, because, I'm over here. There's a guy that's like, look, all you got to do is breathe deeper, breathe longer, and eat from the tree of life, and eat more natural. Stop eating, this garbage that is toxic, and you can actually have a completely different body. You can have a completely different mind and energy in a better life. And people think, oh, I got to do what is being given to me, but there is a better way. And I think that the Qi Revolution shows people this way.
I'm laughing inside a little bit, because something you said earlier about I bet people are thinking we're a bunch of hippies, and I chuckled thinking about how many people listen to this show. I mean, it's a spiritual talk show. It's heard all over the world, and that's who we are in some regard, but we're also people who are making a difference in the world, making an impact, making people more enlightened and awakened. And there has to be a point in many people's lives where you have to be who you are, live authentically, and be in your truth. And so we can't live 9 to 5 a certain way and then, kind of on the side be this. And you are obviously modeling that for so many people, that you're just standing in the truth of what you believe in. And it's a great, great model for people to have, because so many people are still on that fence and wavering what they should be, because of what they've been told, and truly who they are supposed to be. So I just want to acknowledge you for that.
Well, thanks, Lainie. I appreciate that.
I think about the people who come to your event. Are they newbies, like never even heard of it, or they're masters? Or
it's a big diversity, Lainie. We get people who I would say half of the people there are coming for state-approved continuing education credits. They're healers. They're nurses. They're massage therapists. And then there's a few doctors in there too. Now you got the other half of the people there who don't know how to pronounce Qi Gong. They're pronouncing it Qi Gong. And that's how you can find them. They look, they're new, right? You got half the people have never done anything like it even. And so I like that, because I sort of pride ourselves on working with the people who they've done a lot of yoga, great. We'd love to have you. You're going to really appreciate these techniques. They're powerful. You've done nothing in yoga or meditation before. You're totally new. Great. If you hold your hand this way, if you sit this way, if you breathe this way, it'll work for you your first time. Just relax. And that's where I like to come with, because anybody can do Qigong. It's easy, even though it's got a martial arts component. My grandma has done the whole thing, and I think everybody should learn it. It's wonderful.
Do you see more people? I know you mentioned the doctor, but do you see, let's say, the next 5-10 years, it becoming more mainstream and more integrated instead of considered alternative?
I'll tell you what I think about that, Lainie. I've been saying that I want Qi Gong to become a household word for 20 years since I started my company. I started it in the year 2000, so we're close to the 20-year mark. And I said, Qigong, how do I have the domain name, qigong.com. If you go to qigong.com, that's my website. You'll see all my videos there. I love Qigong. I don't care anymore about it becoming a household word. I stopped caring a while ago. I realize now, because I used to teach events that had 2,000 people there in one room practicing together. I stopped caring about the numbers. Yes, a big group of people has more energy. I don't like teaching online. I don't have my classes online yet. When I get too old, maybe I will. But if I can get out there, the best way to learn it is live with good teachers, good music, all in one room, not everybody in 5 different rooms, all in one room. Let's create a sacred place. I think that's going to lead to it becoming cool, because it is cool. It's fun to do. People that do Qigong, they say it's fun after they try it. But when people first look at it, it's got people holding these poses. They look kind of kung fu, or they're holding a ball or like a bow in their hand. They look ancient or primordial. So Qigong, when you first look at it, it's not yoga, but it's different. And so there's a slowness to it getting out there, because people can't understand, how am I going to get powerful from standing still in these poses? And so we have to overcome, some of the bias of learning standing meditation, which is so powerful. I got my kids doing it, at a young age. But not every parent sees the value of incredible focus. And, a lot of parents just want their kids to watch TV.
Yes, they give them a cell phone or a little electronic device from the early age on.
I've taught all my kids Qigong.
How old were they when they first started to learn?
They start learning how not to think about anything, which they're experts at, by the way, at about age 3. And so if you just teach them that, right, look, hey, let's not think about anything. Let's just watch this cloud go by. And do you hear anything? That's such a rare thing to do. Like, bring your kids' attention to what's happening, and then it goes into holding the poses at like age 6, but I don't make them do it like long periods of time. But to have your kid feel the energy is, I think it kind of just awakens them to the magic that is really around us, and I think it boosts intelligence, awareness, and confidence, and it is something that would help kids. And we have some kids that show up at the national event. For sure you will see some 9-year-olds creating a little mayhem, and then they'll be standing in form, and they'll tell you how cool it is. I
love that. We raised our girls here through music. We're in the music industry and have a recording studio, so we've given them ears and eyes to hear vibrational sound and what certain music. So they're both music buffs, and they really, I think, have learned a lot about a lot by just taking in the essence of how important music is to everything. That's all I'm going to say about that, because that could be a whole nother conversation.
Music develops our brain. When we hear long tones versus super fast and aggressive tones all the time, like a lot of young music is, the brain is not growing as well. As we all know the power of not just classical music, but that's just a perfect example of classical sounds that are old from music that is old, that is ancient instruments. Those instruments are, they have tremendous healing power. And we're having live music at the national event, by the way. We're not just playing it. We will have some live instruments there, which we never have that except at this one event. So we're pulling all the stops at this one.
Oh, that sounds terrific. Well, I'll look forward to that piece and every other piece that you are going to be bringing. A lot of people who will be there June 22nd through 24th. Do you want people who want to come to this, go to the Qigong.com? Is that the best place for them to register?
The best place, if they're thinking of the event, is to go to Qi Revolution, which is QIRevolution.com.
Okay, singular, right? No S at the end?
No S.
Jeff, thank you for taking time. I know you're a busy guy, healing a lot of people in the world, and I appreciate you being here today, and I'm glad we're able to support you. And I also want to give a big shout out to the wonderful Candace Trentner-Cool for being so cool to introduce me to you, Jeff. And I know she's part of the wonderful Qigong team that you've assembled. So I'm grateful for her as well, and everything that you guys are bringing here to Florida and to everywhere else.
Well, thank you, Lainie. It's been great to be on the show.
All right, everyone. Blessings to you. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for more information on our next great interview. You can go to our Zeta Continuum and subscribe there on YouTube, as well as our Facebook page and ZetaGlobalRadio.com. Bye for now. I hope to see you at the National Qigong Revolution. Take care.